you have a quote from Adolf Hitler himself. Can we go to the second slide there, Ryan, please? And we'll see this quote from Adolf Hitler espousing collectivism. I'll read it. It says, "It is thus necessary that the individual shall come to realize that his own ego is of no importance in comparison with the existence of his nation, that the position of the individual ego is conditioned solely by the interests of the nation as a whole. That above all, the unity of a nation's spirit is worth far more than the freedom of the spirit and will of the individual." So isn't it true, Chuck, that when we're dealing with your FDRs, your Wilsons, you actually cite brilliantly in the book that Woodrow Wilson was perhaps the most prominent figure responsible for launching America on its long trek towards collectivism. Before him, your FDRs had done it. And later you even say that, other presidents like Hoover picked up on that, that he basically overturned the laissez-faire mode of business, you see, and brought in basically the nanny state and things like that. So, but when you look at these collectivists, to understand them, and you even take it back to even people like Washington and Hamilton and Lincoln, people who've been idolized, and yet they levied harsh taxes on the population and then enforced it with oppression and mass murder, unleashing federal troops on the American people. So this is a very long story, but all of these potentates and all of these ministers of the totalitarian state, whether it is right wing or left wing, they never even address the individual, do they? They see man only in terms of as he serves the state. He's already a slave to them. He's already subjugated. He's not an individual, isn't that right? So this Adolf Hitler sort of quote is really the same type of things that Obama and all of the people that lead us, that's what they believe. They don't even address individuals. They address you only as you're part of some class or some religion or some collectivistic group. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of Obama's slogans at the 2012 Democratic convention was, "We belong to the government." I mean, he actually said that. And, if that doesn't scare people, if that doesn't scare the holy bejesus out of you, then we don't understand what's happening in our society right now. And we're right now, we're on the verge of a silent coup. And this is just one more step. Newt Gingrich, I think, said it best, and I kind of admire Newt Gingrich. He says that once our institutions have been taken over, that one or the other must win, that there's no taking them back, that we're going right down. So you can see this.
Well, people would think that when you make a statement like that you're being pessimistic. And at the end of the show, I want to get into this question of whether or not, when you state facts, when you're a realist, are you pessimistic or is anyone pessimistic? I want to get into that whole question. Let's hold that over for now. But okay. David, didn't you have that quote from George Orwell as well?
Oh, yes. Let me just bring it up here for people. There's also a really interesting quote. I'll get into. Oh, here we go. I'll get the George Orwell one first. So George Orwell says, "The further a society drifts from truth, the more it will hate those who speak it." Yeah, isn't that true? This is what we're going through today.
Same concept. Because that's what we're doing. See, people think they listen to our podcast, they listen to people like Chuck, and they think you're just having a discussion. We're not having a discussion. We're actively doing something about the problems that exist by writing books. Chuck has written over 30 books, probably as many as 60. He's done podcasts. We're doing our podcast. They're all cited. They're all referenced. Other thinkers like Alexander Solzhenitsyn and so many other people are mentioned, Leonard Peikoff, Ayn Rand, Nathaniel Branden. We are not just discussing things. The people who are listening to the sound of our voice need to realize that this is what it takes. You've got to step up and continue the research, make excerpts, put them around in public places, give out leaflets, and even if you get some flack, well, that's too fucking bad. You're saving your nation. You're saving Western civilization. So somebody tears up your leaflet and throws it into the gutter and calls you a name. So what? At least they know your website now. At least, your little website has come out and people now can go on the virtual kingdom, go on the internet and check out your stuff where you don't have all of that fracas. But one way or another, even if you're doing things anonymously, you have to do it.